AAC show.
This week contains some strong language, even more than usual.
Your discretion is advised.
Tommy Lee Jones, let's go home. Wesley Snipes, nah, you go home.
JB back on the case with a change of pace. With the mother, better than the other.
Hey, come on, fellas. Hey, come on. What are you doing?
This is KGYS Los Angeles, the hip trip. Guaranteed to put more dip in your hip or glide in your stride. Now on the flip side, here's the hottest sound in town, the coldest sound around. JB, the round man of sound, live and in full living color. For pleasure per pound, get down.
What's good, y'all? Welcome to another edition of the AAC show. I'm Sonny the Afrofuturist, aka my government name. As you can see, I'm still rocking my Ohio State gear. You know, they won that national championship game last week. Congrats to them. Still got my Ohio State cup. I normally have coffee in here. I got water in here today. All right, Car Wash, 1976 film. I had a pretty good time with this movie, watching this again. I'd seen this twice before. I saw it once as, I think, a teenager or a preteen. My dad showed me this movie. Then I watched it again several years back at my, second apartment. Also, real quick, I am fighting a cold right now, so if my voice sounds a little bit different, that's why. It hasn't gotten too bad, but I am fighting this cold off. So what makes this movie Car Wash is you got a full cast of characters. You got a full cast of folks up in here. You got Lonnie, who you see with a cigar a decent amount of the time in this movie. You got TC, who has a huge afro. He really cares for that afro, and he's eyeing this woman Mona, who works at a store across the street. From the car wash. This takes place at a car wash. This is day-to-day lives of these folks. This doesn't have a super complicated plot. It's just a day in the life of these folks that work at a car wash. TC also draws these comics called The Fly, his own black superhero.
Man, there ain't no black Superman, man. Dig it, man. I would be the first, Lord. I would be like Superman, that square sucker Jack, man. I'd be sharp, man. Yeah. Oh, wow, man. I have me a bad black cape, man, a helmet. Look like two big eyes, in the brim, man.
You full of shit.
Oh, come on, Lord. Wow, man, I just be able to walk up buildings, brother, man, hey, and nobody would mess with me, man. Nobody, man, because, I would be the
Fly. But you still full of shit, though.
You wouldn't talk to me like that if I was the fly.
Oh, yes, I would. Because then you be full of fly shit. You know what else, man? There ain't nothing lower than fly shit. Not kangaroo shit, elephant shit, or chicken shit. Ain't nothing lower than fly shit.
You crazy, man. I swear to God, I'll kill you, man. You ever do that again?
You got Floyd and Lloyd. They want to be some entertainers. They say they're going to be on the Soul Train line one day. You got Justin, who has high aspirations beyond working at the car wash. This is the 70s, so, you do have some names of the time. The fat dude, he's just known as Hippo. He's pretty funny. And then the Native American dude, he doesn't really have a name. They refer to him as Tall Chief a few times in this movie. This came out in, the 70s. You got Abdullah, who's kind of the militant brother. He's really sick of working at the car wash. And, I'll reveal a little bit more about his character later in the review.
Dwayne, I mean, Abdullah, you know what I'm talking about, right? You know where I'm coming from. Revolution is the
You want to pick my brain, right?
Right. I'm gonna let you.
You know that revolution you keep talking about all the time? When it happens, and it's gonna happen, then you're gonna be working here for real, and not just playing around, splashing in the water. You understand? We get a chance to run your white ass, and y'all get a chance to sing "We Shall Overcome" in Chinese.
You got Lindy, who's played by Antonio Fargas. He's a cross-dresser. He's LGBTQ. I don't know if I should say he or she, but Lindy's an LGBTQ character. Lindy works with the men at the car wash, but, you know, dresses like a woman. Just in case I didn't mention before, Abdullah is played by Bill Duke. I didn't know all of the actors in this movie, but I did know Bill Duke. You got Richard Pryor, who shows up as Daddy Rich, this larger-than-life preacher that Abdul has some beef with.
Daddy Rich, you never watch him on TV? That's the man.
Praise the Lord, praise the Lord. Hallelujah.
Well, praise this car, honey.
Thank you, miss.
Daddy Rich, what's your secret, brother?
My secret, please. How you doing, brother? Thank you, brother. Good to see you. The secret? Thank you. There are no secrets. Believe that.
I believe it.
Except believe in the Lord.
Right.
And believe in yourself.
Yes.
And most of all, believe in that federal green. Because money walks and bullshit talks.
Got Slide, who's played by Garrett Morris, who was, you know, early SNL cast member. You got Marsha, who works the register in the office. Then you got the owner of the car wash, Leon, and his son, Erwin, who's kind of the hippie. He wants to work with the men at the car wash. He's always smoking weed throughout this whole movie. He's pretty stoned throughout the entire movie.
I know you're digging it, because I dig playing it, man.
Hey, Erwin, you cool? I'm cool.
Hey, what's happening?
And then after looks like the car wash there wants to play in the water.
Look at that, y'all. Hey, brothers, I'm here to unite with you. Oh, stone to the
Say, Erwin, why don't you go down there with Lloyd and Floyd and work with the steam, huh?
As I said before, this movie doesn't really have much of a, you know, super complex plot. It literally takes place during one day, and it's just about the day-to-day lives of these folks that work at this car wash. There's a bit of a conflict with Bill Duke's character, Abdullah. He's really sick of working at the car wash. He sees it as beneath him. He thinks he could be doing something better, but he doesn't quite know where to direct his anger, and he struggles with that. Another car wash employee tries to help him out. I wasn't necessarily offended by anything they did with Abdullah's character per se. I just kind of wonder what went into that character, and if there was any collaboration with like the actor Bill Duke and the screenwriter who's a, you know, this white dude, Joel Schumacher, who also did Batman and Robin and another movie. He directed Batman and Robin, and he wrote another movie I did on AAC show, The Wiz, which is considered a black classic. A brother did direct this movie, Michael Schultz, who also did Which Way Is Up, Crush Groove. I think he did the based on a true story race car driver movie with Richard Pryor. He's done quite a few movies. I'll get into a brief spoiler so you can, you know, in case you never watched this movie, you really know what I'm talking about with Abdullah's character. So later in the movie, he shows up to the car wash after it's closed with a gun, and he plans to take all the money out. This other brother there convinces him to not do that and says, you know, I'm trying to help you out. I understand how you feel. I understand why you're angry. So, you know, it doesn't go in a direction that is considered like offensive to me. So at least they kind of grounded it in reality. Like, you know, he's really upset. And this other dude's trying to say like, hey, I know how it is. Leave a comment if you've seen this movie. How do you feel about Abdullah and the portrayal of that character in this movie? Oh, also, how could I forget? George Carlin pops up in this movie too. He's a taxi driver. Real quick, this movie is rated PG. It would definitely be PG-13 if it came out now. There's a prostitute who rides in the cab with George Carlin, and she skips out on their fare. They're stuck in traffic, and the fare's going up. She's like, I'm out. So he's looking around for her the whole movie, and she was wearing a blonde wig when he saw her, so he's going around saying, hey, has anyone seen a tall, blonde, black chick? And everyone's like, no.
You probably noticed I ain't got nothing against you people. I ain't got nothing against you people. I ain't got nothing against any people. That's what I think we need is more love in the world. I don't know about marriage. I don't know if I'd go that far. But I believe in the lunch counter thing. I think if a guy wants to be able to get something to eat, he ought to be able to get something to eat, you know. Come on, let's move it up there. What is this, the mobile gas economy, Rod? Come on, what's going on? Bunch of bastards! Move it!
So what makes this movie work, even though there's not really a plot? And I said I could be kind of mixed on movies that don't really have much of a plot. They're just kind of like I can't remember the specific cinematic term for it, but just kind of like day-to-day life, you know, type of movie, just showing like, you know, how these people interact daily, what they go through. The actors do a really solid job, and I think the characters are written well enough to really carry the movie, and the music is amazing. Rolls Royce did the soundtrack. You probably heard the song Car Wash before. It's a pretty popular song. Rewatching this movie definitely had me wanting to look up the soundtrack on Apple Music. I'll probably be listening to that soundtrack here in the next couple of weeks, I'm pretty sure.
Sitting here in this chair.
Anybody want more coffee?
Oh, baby, to say things my way. But not a word do you say. You don't even look my way.
As I said before, it's the 70s. This movie is PG. The PG-13 rating did not come out until 1984. It was not around yet. So this movie would have been PG-13 if it came out now. There's a scene where a character grabs a boob. You know, Irwin, the owner's son of the car wash, he's smoking weed. They say the S word almost like 20 times. And there is one use of the F word, not the FU word, but the homophobic slur F word. This came out, this came out in the 70s. But I will say, just in case there's any LGBTQ people watching, the moment where they do say that in the movie, they do let Antonio Fargas's character kind of like talk back, say like, who are you talking to?
Would you please get out of my face, you sorry looking f***? Who you calling sorry looking? Can't you all see that she ain't funny? She's just another poor example of how the system has of destroying our men.
Honey, I am more man than you'll ever be, and more woman than you'll ever get.
Oh, and you also got Calvin, this boy who rides around on a skateboard. He's kind of a mischievous little kid. Like when he rolls by on the skateboard, like, hey Calvin, how you doing? He's like, yo mama. Overall, I'm gonna give Car Wash a very, very strong 3.5 out of 5 stars, close to a 4. The only reason I don't give it a 4, it's pretty close, is because I consider like 4 out of 5 star movies are movies where it's like, yo, I gotta sit down and watch this. This is almost there. Almost there. The music, the actors, really solid, really well done movie. Yeah, not much else I can say about it.
Hey, stop doing shit to my car.
All right, American Ultra. First time I watched this movie was the first time I was living out on my own, y'all. This is when I was living off campus in college. Really felt like I was growing out here paying bills. I decided to rewatch Car Wash earlier because like I just remember that being a really good movie, and I wanted to rewatch that. I picked this movie because I was interested in what this movie is based on. It's basically based on like the government's MK Ultra programs, and that's some scary stuff. If you look it up, CIA on some messed up stuff out here. So the main character of this movie is Mike. He's just an ordinary dude. He doesn't really do much except smoke weed, draw comics, and hang out with his girlfriend Phoebe, and he works at this convenience store. Mike is played by Jesse Eisenberg. Phoebe's played by Kristen Stewart.
Oh no, dude.
I know.
I feel so betrayed.
Do you get it? It's because he's man's best friend, not monkey's best friend.
Of course. I mean, in hindsight, it makes total sense to me. It's just that...
He's a dog.
You should write it down, I'm telling you.
I don't know. I mean, I really just like thinking about it and like talking about it. Apollo 8 and his adventures.
No, I love when you talk about it. I think other people would love it too. Like, even, like, they might love to read it if you wrote it down. Seriously. Do something really real with it.
Turns out Mike is not as ordinary as he thinks. He's really a sleeper agent for this government program where they train people to be assassins. So I'm not going to reveal everything because it'll be getting into some spoiler territory. I'll talk a little bit spoilery with this review. Basically, Mike goes out to his car one night, closing up after work, and he sees two dudes messing with his car. He's like, hey, why are you messing with my car? They come and attack him, and he kills them, and he doesn't even know how he did it. He does it in like 15 seconds with like almost no effort at all. Turns out there's two people at the CIA who are butting heads over this Mike situation. There's this woman played by Connie Britton. I think her name was Victoria. Yeah, Victoria. She was running this program, and she was kind of in charge of Mike and how he was doing. Turns out that he is scheduled to be terminated by this other program that's ran by this dude who's a real jerk, Yates, who's played by Topher Grace from, you know, that 70s show Spider-Man 3.
Hi, darling.
Why is Lyman on lockdown? Why are there men in hazmat suits walking around like extraterrestrials? What the are you doing?
A dog with rabies got loose. A real old bitch.
Oh, you're all class, Adrian.
You activated how? Now 2 of my tough guy assets are dead. I know what you're doing here. Don't with my operation.
Your operation is murder.
This is the last time that you and I speak.
I'm taking you down, Yates. You understand me?
That's pretty big talk for a middle-aged woman with a cell phone? You can't touch me, okay? You can't. Did you just hang up on me? Please tell me you did not just hang up on me.
And so that's the conflict of the movie. Mike is asking questions about what's really happening in his life, what's really going on, and you have these two CIA agents butting heads over what's going to happen with him. This is an R-rated movie. There's a lot of cussing. There's a decent amount of action and blood up in here. I didn't really mind like the blood. I think it's sufficient enough for a movie dealing with this type of action without getting like too overly gory, because sometimes I think like action movies rely too much on like extreme or graphic violence. I don't think this movie really fell into that trap. John Leguizamo pops up in this movie and he says nigga like 5 times. I just had to mention that. You know, the first time he said it twice when he said it the first time, then he says it again, then he says it again. I was like, all right, dude, who gave you your pass? Because I certainly didn't. He's playing a comedic character, so I wasn't like, oh, you know, I wasn't like offended, but I definitely, you know, raised an eyebrow like, okay, man, you shouldn't be saying that. John Leguizamo plays Rose. He's Mike's drug dealer. He goes to him a little bit later in the movie for some help. Lavelle Crawford pops up in here for just a minute. Spoiler alert, his character does die though. You don't see it on screen though, but his character does die. I had a decent time with this movie overall, but I don't know if it's something I would necessarily recommend. There's nothing about it that really pops out or stands out. Jesse Eisenberg, Kristen Stewart, Topher Grace, Connie Britton, all the actors do a really solid job. But the movie was, for the most part, kind of by the numbers. I don't know if I could quite give it a 3 out of 5 stars. I think another reason is because John Leguizamo said nigga like 5 times. I think that's another reason why I don't quite want to give it a 3 out of 5 stars. Just being a little personal. This movie was marketed as an action comedy. I would consider this more just a straight up action movie with some drama in there, a little bit of elements of comedy. But this isn't like a super comedic film. I didn't laugh a lot in this movie. I did enjoy the action. I thought the action scenes were pretty well done. As I said, nothing, you know, that makes me like have to recommend this to somebody, but it was good if you're, you know, watching this movie for some reason on cable or something. You might have a good time with it. I feel like once I read up some like IMDb trivia and read up like some of the true life stuff that went into this movie, I'll be a little more intrigued, because that MK Ultra stuff is like really interesting, really messed up. Like if you get a chance to read up on that, maybe don't read up on it right before bed. But yeah, I thought this movie could have delved a little bit deeper into that. That would have been kind of interesting, because you are kind of confused as to what's going on. The movie does that intentionally, but I thought if they'd gone a little bit deeper, it would have been interesting. I don't know if that's, you know, maybe the movie just wasn't trying to do that. Maybe it was just trying to be just a more straight up action comedy, or maybe it was a little bit deeper. The studio came in and made it less deep. You know, I'm not trying to go conspiracy theories there, just wondering. Overall, I give American Ultra a very strong 2.5 out of 5 stars. As I've said in past reviews, 2.5 out of 5 stars isn't necessarily a negative review. It just means the movie was good, and just good for like a one-time watch. I'm not really gonna think about it again or really recommend it to anybody. And that's not to really like knock the movie. It was well done. It just, you know, just didn't have that extra mile factor. All right, that's been another edition of AAC Show. Thank you for watching. That is it for season 2 of AAC Show. I am done for several months. I'm probably going to do a season 3 here starting up in the fall. I'm doing 25 best NCAA football games of 2024 coming up next month. Have a blessed week, y'all. And thank you for tuning in for season 2 of AAC Show. Like, comment, subscribe if you like this video. Have a blessed one, y'all.